Hello, Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Stay indoors and stay safe because the present COVID scenario has played havoc, in fact, all over the world, and we must take precautions. We must adopt the soaps uh, time by time, directed by the medical experts and the government. So let's hope that the Almighty Allah will shower us with His blessings, and we will soon get rid of this deadly virus. Anyway, let us start our first lesson. That is, it's entitled The Lost Lesson. In fact, it's our first lesson, but its title is The Lost Lesson. It is written by the name of our author is Alphonse Daudet. Alphonse Daudet, he was born in 1840 and he died or lived up to 1897. He was a French novelist and a short story writer. His The Lost Lesson, which is कैसे को Hello, dear students. Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon to all of you. Stay indoors and stay safe because the deadly COVID virus has played havoc all over the world, especially our country is mostly affected. So let's pray that Almighty Allah will shower His blessings upon us and we will get rid of this deadly virus. This is our first lesson, and the title of our lesson is The Lost Lesson. In fact, our first lesson, its title is The Lost Lesson. Let's say a couple of words about the author. Alphonse Daudet is our author. He's born in 1840 and he's lived up to 1897. He was a French novelist and a short story writer. The Lost Lesson, it is compiled, it is written in those days when the war between the France and Prussia was it in full flow, about in 1870 to 1871. And in this war, the France was badly defeated by the Prussian troops, and the troops were led by Bismarck. In those days, the Prussia was consisted of the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of the Austria. In this story, the French districts, two districts rather, these were the Alsace and the Lorraine, they came into the hands of the Prussian troops. And let's find what's in the story. Let's learn it. The author says, I started for the school very late that morning and was in dread of scolding, especially because Mr. Hamel had said that he would question us on participles, and I did not know the first word about them. Arthur used to be a little boy who goes to school every morning, and he's afraid of his teacher, Mr. Hamel, because Mr. Hamel is teaching them or teaching the author the participles about the participles, and the author doesn't know ABC about the participles. And for a moment, I thought running away and spending the days out of the doors. It was so warm, so bright. On this particular day about which the author is talking, in this day, that he was very bright. It was very sunny day. It was looking very beautiful all around, and Arthur wants to skip school. He wants to spend his time away from the school somewhere in order to entertain himself, because he, being a baby, he doesn't know the value and the importance of the school, the things he was supposed to learn at school. It was so warm and bright. The birds were chirping at the edge of the woods, and in the open field back of the sawmill, the Prussian soldiers were drilling. It was all much more tempting that role for the participles, but I had strength, rest, and bodied of the school. The writer makes us aware, or he takes our attention towards a scene when birds were flying and they were chirping, and it was a beautiful scene as per the author was concerned, and the role of the participles which his teacher, Mr. Hamill, was going to teach them and ask about what he has taught them in the previous day. It was looking very dreadful and very not good for the author. But the author thinks that he has very strength to resist, and he decided to go to school very hurriedly. Dear students, I will put it in Urdu in order to make you understand better. दरअसल जो हमारा लेसन है, जो हमारा पहला लेसन है, इसका टाइटल है हमारा लास्ट लेसन. ये लास्ट लेसन जो है अल्फोंस डॉडेट ने लिखा है, और इसने अल्फोंस डॉडेट 1840 में पैदा हुए और 1897 में उसने वफात पाई, या वहाँ तक वो जिंदा रहे. एक फ्रेंच नॉवलिस्ट थे, और फ्रेंच नॉवलिस्ट होने के साथ साथ उन्होंने कुछ अफसाने भी लिखे हैं, यानी शॉर्ट स्टोरी राइटर भी ये थे. और लास्ट लेसन जो है ये इसने उन दिनों लिखी है जब फ्रांस और प्रोशिया के दरमियान जंग छिड़ी थी. ये बात 1870 और 1871 के बारे में 71 की है, जिसमें फ्रांस को शिकस्त हुई प्रोशिया के हाथों. प्रोशिया के उस वक़्त जो लीड कर रहे थे, जो हेड ऑफ द स्टेट थे प्रोशिया के, ये बिस्मार्क थे. और प्रोशिया में उन दिनों जर्मनी और पोलैंड और कुछ हिस्सा ऑस्ट्रिया का जो इलाका इन पर बनता है, वो इलाका प्रोशिया उन दिनों कहलाता था. और इस जंग में क्या हुआ था कि दो अहम इलाके जो थे, जो अहम डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स जो थे, एक लोरीन और दूसरा एल्सेस, ये फ्रांस के हाथों से चले गए थे, और प्रोशिया ने उन पर अपना दावा जमा लिया था, अपना कब्जा जमा लिया था. तो ये उन दिनों की बात है. उन दिनों राइटर जो है अपने स्कूल में उसके क्या हालात थे, कैसे उसकी स्कूलिंग चल रही थी, उसके बारे में इस लेसन में बात करते हैं. तो इसमें कुछ फ्रेजेस पहले ही दिए गए हैं जो जिनका हमें पूरा जो मीनिंग है पता होना चाहिए. इन ग्रेट ड्राई ऑफ मीन्स बहुत ही खौफजदा होना. इन यूनिसन मीन्स यकसान या एक साथ, बैक वक्त का किसी चीज़ का होना. काउंटेड ऑन मीन्स रिकनिंग, जिसको हम शुमार कर सकते हैं. इन ग्रेट बसल, बड़ी चहल पहल. थम्प एट द एजेस, यानी जिसको हमने अंगूठों से किसी चीज़ को मेला कर दिया है, गंदा कर दिया है. रिप्रोच आवरसेल्व्स विद, अपने आप को डांटना, अपने आप से नाराज़ होना वगैरह, ये इन वर्ड्स के बारे में है. तो हुआ क्या कि राइटर हमें कह रहा है कि उन दिनों जब वो स्कूल जाया करता था, उस एक दिन क्या हुआ कि वो सुबह सवेरे स्कूल के लिए निकला, लेकिन उसे लगा कि उसे देर हो चुकी है. और दूसरा ये कि उसे बहुत ही डर था कि मिस्टर हैमिल, जो इनको फ्रेंच पढ़ाते थे, फ्रांसीसी ज़बान के बारे में बड़ा पढ़ाते थे, वो इसको पार्टिसिपल्स के बारे में उनका लेसन हुआ करता था. और वो जो उसने अगले दिन पढ़ाया, जो उसने पिछले दिन पढ़ाया होगा, आज के दिन वो उसे उनको इसके बारे में पूछगछ होगी, टीचर क्वेश्चन करेगा इसके बारे में. मिस्टर हैमिल, जो हमारा राइटर है, ये एक बच्चा उन दिनों था, एक बड़ा ही खौफजदा था. उसने सोचा कि वो शायद स्कूल को स्किप करे. उस दिन वो स्कूल, इसके दिमाग में ख्याल आता है कि वो स्कूल नहीं जाएगा, क्योंकि उसने सोचा कि वो दिन भी बहुत अच्छा था, धूप निकली हुई थी, परिंदे चहचहा रहे थे और सब कुछ ठीक ठाक ठाक था। वहाँ वो जंगल साइड में भी जाकर अपना दिन निकाल सकता था, जहाँ पर वो फील्ड में शामिल वगैरह भी चल रही थी, जहाँ पर प्रूशियन सोल्जर्स जो थे मैदान में अपनी ड्रिल भी कर रहे थे, कुछ एक्टिविटीज़ में भी मशगूल थे। मतलब ये कि अल्फोंस डाउडिट का दिन बहुत अच्छी तरीके से निकल सकता था। लेकिन उसने सोचा कि नहीं, मुझ में ये इतनी स्ट्रेंथ है कि अगर उसका टीचर उसे डांटे भी या उसे वहाँ कुछ हजीमत का सामना भी करना पड़ेगा, तो उसमें ये सलाहियत है कि वो उसे बर्दाश्त भी कर सकता था। ये इट वाज अबाउट द ऑल अबाउट द फर्स्ट पैरा। नाउ द second para is, the writer says, when I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. For the last 2 years, all around bad news had come from there. The lost battles, the draft, the orders of the commanding officer, and I thought to myself without stopping. Now he takes us all around the things which he finds on the way to school. First thing he finds, there was a crowd in front of a notes board. Bulletin board means notes board, and for the last and in the notes board, the people were finding that bad news is and the good news is, means the people were being informed about all the developments which took place in those days when the France and Prussia were engaged in a bloody war. And in the notes boards where the two countries have lost the ground, or they have occupied their positions, and something about the military drills, it was also in the notes board, and the directions passed by their commanding officers, and something like that. Means everything was on record in those notes boards, in front of which the writer finds lot of people standing there. Now the writer says, what can be the matter now? Means meanwhile he's going to school, he's thinking about his teacher. He's thinking about that he is not in a very good position to face his teacher in the class. Meanwhile, his attention diverts towards the crowd of the people which is standing in front of the notes board. He thinks that what might have happened, and then what he says, then as I hurried by as fast as I could go, the blacksmith watcher who was there with an apprentice reading the bulletin called after me, don't go so fast. You will get to your school in plenty of time. Now what happened? When he was rushing towards the school, he was moving very, very fast, and he was moving very, very quick. And what happened there? Some voice came after him. It was a blacksmith with his apprentice. He called him that you should not move very fast. There is plenty of time left for your school. But the author think that he was perhaps his statement was ironical. He was in fact saying that he's not very punctual for his schooling, and the writer did not pay any attention. He moved on his business, means he was very confident to reach school within time as soon as possible. I thought he was making a fun of me. It's written here. And reached Mr. Hamill's little garden, all out of breath. When he reached Mr. Hamill's, the place where Mr. Hamill was teaching his students, he was out of breath, means he was panting very badly. He was not in a very he was not in a position to talk freely, because he was in fact in a state of choked position. मतलब ये कि दूसरे पैराग्राफ में क्या लिखा है, या दूसरे पैराग्राफ में हमारे लिए क्या चीज़ें हैं, क्या इंफॉर्मेशन है, वो ये है कि राइटर कह रहा है कि मैं टाउन हॉल के पास से जा रहा था, मैंने देखा कि लोगों की भीड़ एक नोटिस बोर्ड के आगे जमा थी। इस नोटिस बोर्ड के बारे में ये मशहूर था कि वहाँ पर हर किस्म की जो खबर है या खबरें हैं वो वो वहाँ पर दर्ज की हुई होती हैं। किसने लड़ाई जीती, किसने हारी, और फौज कहाँ पर ड्रिल कर रही है, कहाँ पर मशक कर रही है, कमांडिंग ऑफिसर्स के हिदायत क्या हैं फौजों के लिए। और ये राइटर बगैर किसी सोचे समझे, बगैर वहाँ रुके हुए वहाँ से जाने की कोशिश कर रहा था। तो लेकिन बगैर किसी लम्हा ज़ाया किए हुए वो सोच रहा है कि वहाँ आखिर लोगों की इतनी भीड़ क्यों जमा हो चुकी है। खबरें तो रोज़ हुआ करती हैं, लेकिन इतनी भीड़ राइटर जो है आज देख रहा है, इसे थोड़ी बहुत हैरत होती है। बहरहाल राइटर आगे जाता है, वहाँ इसे एक ब्लैक स्मिथ यानी लोहार की आवाज़ आ रही है, जो वहाँ पर अपने एक नाव आमोज जो उसका एक वहाँ पर एक लड़का या एक बंदा बैठा हुआ था उसके साथ खड़ा था। उसने आवाज़ लगाई कि लड़के, अभी स्कूल जाने में वक्त है, आप इतनी देर क्यों जा रहे हो। लेकिन राइटर ने सोचा कि शायद ये मुझे जोक कर रहा है। इनफैक्ट उसका मतलब ये है कि आप बहुत देर से जा रहे हैं, आप स्कूल जाने में पंक्चुअल नहीं हैं, आप वक्त की कदर नहीं कर रहे हैं, ये इसका ख्याल था। बहरहाल राइटर पहुंच जाता है अपने मुकाम पर, उस गार्डन में जहां पर मिस्टर हैमिल पढ़ाया करता था, और वहां जाकर उसकी सांस फूली हुई है, वो बात करने के काबिल नहीं होता है। थैंक यू, दिस इज़ ऑल फॉर टुडे। और इंशाल्लाह हम अपने लेसन्स ऐसे ही जारी रखेंगे और आप उनको देखते रहिएगा। थैंक यू वेरी मच। Hello dear students. Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon to all of you. Stay indoors and stay safe, because the deadly COVID virus has played havoc all over the world, especially our country is mostly affected. So let's pray that Almighty Allah will shower His blessings upon us and we will get rid of this deadly virus. This is our first lesson, and the title of our lesson is the lost lesson. In fact, our first lesson, its title is the lost lesson. Let's say a couple of words about the author. Alphonse Daudet is our author. He's born in 1840 and he's lived up to 1897. He was a French novelist and a short story writer. The Lost Lesson, it is compiled, it is written in those days when the war between the France and Prussia was it in full flow, about in 1870 to 1871. And in this war, the France was badly defeated by the Prussian troops, and the troops were led by Bismarck. In those days, the Prussia was consisted of the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of the Austria. In this story, the French districts, two districts